Hey everybody, I am Katrina from In Cat We Trust, and in this video, I will be giving kind of an end of the year review on some things that I didn't get a chance to review separately, but also some of the really cool things I got to do this year, and as a bonus, two very short but special interviews I got to get early in December. So let's get started from there. So 2021 overall has been a really interesting year in regards to, everything going on with the pandemic, still being cautious about going to events, going to see people, seeing family and all of that stuff, and even how we watched entertainment. There was still a lot of, HBO Max, Disney Plus, streaming services, and why the movie theaters gradually started getting people back in the theater. There was a lot of, I don't know if I want to go to see this movie. Do I wait for it to stream? So there's quite a few movies I did see this year that I didn't have a chance to separately review, and so I wanted to do that, and some TV shows that I haven't had a chance to separately review, so I wanted to do that as well. So let's start with that first. I did see Shang-Chi, which is, MCU's Phase 4 movie, and, it was really nice to see, again, I'm always a fan of having culture shown that's not what we know as the norm. When I say the norm, the white actors, the white stars, the white stories, and so it's always nice to see people of color stories out there. So it was nice to see. I enjoyed the movie. There was some weird, I guess, reviews I did read and watch over the time that movie came out, and people didn't like it, some people did. I honestly thought it was a pretty solid movie. It's not something I would probably watch again, only because for me to rewatch a Marvel movie, I have to really, really, really love it. In general, for me to watch any movie multiple times, it's because it's like a favorite of mine, or it's a movie that I really, really like. So it was a solid movie. I did like it, and am interested to see where they go with, the character after that. And so it was pretty solid movie in that regards. I did see Candyman, which was I'm always impartial to movies being kind of redone, or bringing back a movie that's like super old, for whatever reason. And so I went in watching this movie pretty apprehensive about it. And while it wasn't necessarily terrible, I did have a lot of issues with, I guess, some of the points they were trying to make, and why they were very valid points, and I felt like they should have been made. I also felt that some of the points kind of fell flat because the way it was told, or it didn't have the impact I wanted it to have. And while we all know the story of Candyman and how Tony Todd's Candyman became to be, it was a nice little ode, I guess, to him, and he did make an appearance. So spoiler if you haven't seen that. But I did have issues with it, and so I didn't like it as much as I guess I wanted to like it. And not that I'm a fan of the original Candyman, because I actually did not like the original Candyman, because I'm impartial to, how certain things are if we're going to do a slasher type of character. And so, he's the guy with Hook and everything. And so the only thing I did really appreciate is the whole, like, not saying the name. And, like, there was a scene with Vanessa Williams in the movie was like, we don't say that. And it kind of remembers of, like, black people, or, like, certain things we just don't say or we don't do. And so that I did relate to. But I just wish there was things that were just hit a little differently with that. So that's my review on that movie. Also, another big movie that came out this year was Halloween Kills, which was a continuation of the Halloween we got 2 years, maybe a year ago, 2 years prior. And I was very, very, very annoyed with the people in the movie. I just felt like, we know Michael Myers tends to be this killer that it's kind of hard to kind of you can't get rid of him, you can't kill him. There's always like, oh, you think he's dead? No, surprise, he's not dead. And so while the very first sequence was pretty, cool, like he didn't kill all the firefighters and stuff, and not to discredit firefighters, it was just like, again, if I see like the house burning down, but I see some dead body that I know is a killer sitting there, I don't know if I'll be like inclined to still try to like deal with all of that. I might have been like, okay, well, let's back up a bit, and not deal with this. Guess that'll make me a terrible firefighter, I guess. But anyway, outside of like, it was just, people were so stupid in the whole movie, and I was just so agitated with the town. Like, it was so important to the town that this happened originally in '76, I believe, or '78. The original Halloween, happened, where he, tried to kill Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and how the town, like, it was so much stress about everything that the town even made this to a point where they like did a whole history lesson every time Halloween will come. So I'm like, if this means this much to the town, and you guys were so affected all these years later that it's like, oh my god, this is a horrible thing. Why didn't you just jump his ass and make sure he couldn't come back? And like, you guys was just being really stupid. And like, even with some of the black people, I was just like, do we, the black people don't, we don't do this. Like, oh, we just moved to the town, and then you like involved with. I'm like, oh no, I didn't live here when this first happened, so I would dip. Personally, I don't do that horror movie stuff. Like, you gotta be smart about this. And so when everybody died, and at the end, I was actually rooting for Michael. And you're not supposed to root for the killer. Of, in horror movies, you want the people to succeed, you want them to live, you want them to live happy lives and make it to the end. But I was so agitated with like everything in the way they were acting. I was like, you know what, Michael, dude, do you, bro, do you? I was just so agitated by that I was just like, yeah, do you? So I was just, it could have been, it annoyed me. And so I'm guessing there's supposed to be one more part, I believe, and so hopefully they'll fix that. But super irritated with that. I also saw The Matrix. Resurrections, and I feel like we shouldn't have had a fourth one. There's a lot I really truly just didn't understand with why this was the choice you wanted to go with this. I don't know if this is the story you wanted to tell, and why I get overall it was a love story, kind of getting back to one person who was like your significant other, your other half, and I understood that part. Um, it just it could have been so many things differently, and I guess there was still like another Matrix and all this other stuff. And if you haven't watched it, I don't want to spoil too much. If you haven't watched it, since it just kind of came out recently, but I just had a lot of issues with a lot of the parts of the movie. Um, that I thought could have been better. And again, I wasn't a fan of two and three anyway. I did like the first Matrix. I thought it was different. It was cool to kind of see. And I'm partial to Keanu Reeves not having many lines. Like, he's a really nice dude and everything, and he always seems like cool to everybody, and that's great. I'm just really impartial to his acting, and so I'm always okay when he has roles where he don't have to talk too much, just enough to do what you need to do, kick some ass, and move along with your day. And so I didn't like it, and I know people did like it, and a lot of people didn't. I just was like, I would definitely not watch this again. I was okay with just having the first Matrix and even the whole other things that was happening. So about that. A Quiet Place 2 also was a movie that kind of fell short for me. I really, really loved the first one. Absolutely loved the first one. I thought it was brilliantly told. There were scenes that were really hard hitting and emotional, but Quiet Place 2 just did not hit the way I wanted it to hit, and I was highly, highly annoyed with that in regards to, could have been better. You guys could have done this better. There was some character deaths that I was like, why was this the place we went? There was probably a way. I don't know. I didn't like it as much as I liked the first one, which is unfortunate because I was looking forward to the second one. And not that it was terrible. I just liked the first one a lot better. There was also Dune, which I did watch, and my guy Jason Momoa, and everybody knows I love me some Jason Momoa. That's my guy, Jason all day, Jason all day. But anyway, it was Jason Momoa's in there, Zendaya's in there, Oscar Isaac is in there, and quite a few other people. And it's, if you know the Dune series, if you know everything about it, then you kind of have an idea of this movie was kind of just setting the world up a bit, getting you kind of ready for the next part, which was fine. It wasn't terrible. I actually did enjoy it. I don't know if I'll watch it again necessarily, but it wasn't terrible. I did like it. And again, spoiler, I was kind of mad with some of the deaths in the movie. I just felt like, can we just not have my guy always gotta perish? Can we not do this to my guy all the time, Jason? Let's not have the homie, like, can we not? Can he make it to the end of one movie where I'm like, yes, that's not Aquaman. Again, spoiler. So I did enjoy it. I am looking forward to see the next one. I guess we'll go from there. And then there was Ghostbusters. After I'm probably messing up the title, but the new Ghostbuster movies with Paul Rudd and Phil Wolf, Finn from Stranger Things. Also, I didn't want to mess up his last name. I actually really, really, really loved the movie. It was an amazing movie. Um, I enjoyed it. I wasn't, again, I'm a partial to having things kind of get brought back up again or having things be like reboots, but this is more like a sequel in a way, and so it's like a sequel with like a new generation of kids, and I really enjoyed it. I thought the characters were really well done. The little girl was one of my favorite characters, and her best friend, who was like super social media tech savvy, he had me laughing throughout most of the movie. It was just really like the kids were so good, and I was glad that Paul Rudd didn't really have as much. He was there, but it didn't take away from the other characters, and I really appreciated that. It was a nice little homage to the original Ghostbusters, and we got some good cameos, and I really enjoyed it. I probably would watch it again. I really enjoyed it. It was actually very well done. It wasn't like I'm like, oh, why did I spend my time watching this? I don't like wasting time watching things, movies, because I like movies, I like TV, and so it was really well done. And so I'm glad I got to see that. That was cool. As far as TV shows, I felt like I did binge watch a lot of the same things a couple of times because you know what you love, and so you know where the ending is going, and so you watch it. And so there was things like Arcane, which I did not finish yet, but so far what I got out of it, I'm absolutely loving the series on Netflix. So definitely check it out. I have to finish it. Hopefully, I can do that before the end of 2021. I did watch this Korean drama show, which was called Cinderella and the Four Knights, and I like absolutely loved the show. I thought it was very well done. It's perfect drama. The main character was just so lovable and so likable. And then the Four Knights, the guys kind of, you know, involved. And the story was just so good. It was such a good, entertaining drama. And I've been watching a lot of that recently. And it's just, oh, this is super cool. I enjoyed it. And so that was nice. Um, I also got to watch. I'm trying to think of the other like shows. The Sex and the City reboot. So, and just like that. And while it's still going on, as you know, it's like I think episode 3, episode 4 right now. I do have a lot of issues, so I guess I'll probably do a future video about some of the issues I have with that. So that kind of annoyed me as well, but that's a whole other thing. And then of course we had Spider-Man, and I already did like a live stream type of reaction review video of it. But again, if you haven't watched that one, know that I absolutely loved the Spider-Man movie. It was so well done for like storyline purposes. Tom Holland absolutely killed it. I love him as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and we're supposed to get 3 more. So fingers crossed we get Tom doing the last 3, and they rectify some issues I had with like my poor Tom being all alone. And then the nostalgia and the good bonus points with Peter, Tobey Maguire's Peter, and Andrew Garfield's Peter. And you know how I feel about Andrew Garfield, but he wasn't so aggravating in this movie, so I'll give him a pass. So yeah, that was pretty much my things as far as movies and shows. So I guess let's get into what I've been doing personally on the personal front. So I didn't get as much writing done this year, and as far as like my fiction writing, I think I told a lot of you guys already, or like in other previous videos, that I do write under Kate Blake. That is my fiction. I write romance, and I write romance. I hope to write horror one day and do screenplays one day, but I do write romance books. And for this, again, I've been struggling with this. Even with 2020, it was just really hard to get myself in the space to write happy things when you have a lot going on in your personal life and you kind of just, it's not really feeling it. So I did a lot of writing wrestling wise. I did a lot of writing for wrestling sites, which I was also doing in 2020, but I got to do a little bit more. I got to do a new site, which was Neon Splatter, which I did 2 posts for the Halloween month of October, which was pretty cool to do. And it was a nice thing. But as far as wrestling, I did a lot of wrestling stuff, which was pretty cool. So I'm gonna do a quick little rundown about that. I had sports obsessive, shooting the sports. It's horror obsessive with things I already worked for. But then I also joined Women's Wrestling Talk, with a women's wrestling network that talks about women's wrestling. And I was really fortunate to be through Women's Wrestling Talk to go to Survivor Series in the Barclays as media and just kind of get a little bit of footage and to kind of enjoy the show. And then I got to go to AEW in the Long Island area, the UBS arena, which is again there as media, had really good seats. And it was nice to kind of do that. It's like, oh, I'm here as a wrestling fan, but I'm also here doing like kind of a job. And so it was nice to kind of be there and do that. It was a new experience for me, so I really enjoyed that. Again, I did join Women's Wrestling Talk. I got to interview Bianca Corelli, who is Santino Marino's daughter, and also Medusa, aka Alundra Blaze. She was very, very, very kind. It's one of like my favorite interviews just because I was really nervous going and doing it, and she was so kind. And I researched and she liked my questions, and so to do that and then appear on her Twitch like the next day or something, or later on the same day, I appeared on her Twitch. And she was really nice. And while we didn't get to sync up schedules, we were supposed to do like Twitch together. And I'm hoping for 2022 we get to actually get a moment to both have the same schedule where we can both do Twitch and kind of play Dead by Deadlight, because that's one of the games we both happen to have and like. And so hopefully for 2022 I can make that happen, where we can actually sync up both our schedules and make it happen. But that was something that was supposed to happen, and so fingers crossed. I also got to do other things like I did my first, I did wrestling shows as like an interviewer, and like I've been doing podcasting since 2020. Again, I did start wrestling podcasting during the quarantine. Like I was kind of bored, and I do like wrestling, and that was the one thing that kind of had me happy through all of it. And so I did that as well, and it was cool to kind of do it in like a person thing. And so while there was a bit of snafus with like the first two shows, with like the Black Girl Magic show, which was an amazing show. So please, please, please go support Tate Norman on that, who did do the show, and please go and watch it and support the women that was on the show. But also got to do kind of work with We Are Wrestling, which is a pretty new promotion based in like the New York, New Jersey area, as like a backstage correspondent, which was really cool. And so the last event, which was also in December, I got to actually do where I got to interview quite a few people like Mercedes Martinez and Gabby Ortiz. So it was really nice that everybody was so kind to me and was really like helpful and understanding that I was slightly nervous, because again, podcasting is so much more different than doing something in person with a mic in your hand. And so I got to do promo shots, and I felt like, oh my God, I got promo shots as a backstage correspondent. And it was like a really like wow moment for me, because I would have never thought like last year this would be something I would be doing. I do hope to go into 2022 being able to do more of these, maybe work with other companies, and maybe even do some commentary work or do some ring announcements with people who want me to do that, which was really like, what, me? I hate my voice. And so, fingers crossed I can do that and just do more of that in 2022. So that was really awesome to get to do this year as far as the wrestling front. It's been, really cool, and being able to talk, be friends, or at least have a little rapport with Jazz and Thunder Rosa, being that I talked about them and stuff, was pretty cool. And like, I'm a fan of both women, and I grew up watching Jazz on TV. So it was just like super like mind blowing. I also got to meet Jacob Fatu this year, and he was like, he's super beast and related to, those genes of the Samoan wrestling family is insane of how many of them wrestle. And so he was really cool. I got to interview some really new wrestlers this year that I haven't got a chance to interview before. Viva Van particularly was a really fun interview that I did. She's super badass, has all the belts. So again, wrestling people, check out if you haven't. And then I got to interview Rain Cruz, who also was the announcer at SummerSlam for the Big E pre-show match. She was also very kind. So I had some really cool interviews that I got to do this year. And I got to meet shows and network and meet more people that I did not know in 2020. And so that was really, really cool to do. I got to go to House of Glory, where I got to see Buddy Matthews and Malakai Black, aka Aleister Black, and that was amazing. I got to see them wrestle in WWE, but to see it in person was a whole different level. So the line is really crazy. Again, two really super, super stellar guys. And so I asked them when I got to them, like, would you mind just answering a quick question or two for my podcast? And so Buddy was the one I got to interview first, and he was really, really kind. So check that interview out right here.
So how was it stepping in the ring with Okada for the first time?
Awesome. I feel like people always thought that I was like a New Japan style, so to step in there with their top dog was awesome. I debuted on SmackDown against SmackDown's top dog, and it followed me all the way to New Japan. So one of many.
And since it's like the holidays, what is your favorite Christmas movie to watch no matter what?
Jingle All the Way.
Love that movie.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you. It was so great to meet you. Thank you.
Okay. as I previously mentioned, the Malachi Black interview was a bit of a technical snafu because I didn't get the video footage, and it would have been nice to kind of see my reaction to the response to the first question I asked with regards to, because this person's also one of my favorite wrestlers that I got to recently know and absolutely love. And so it was my excitement level was hot when he said that. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And totally didn't get any of that. But again, Malachi was really kind to redo the questions for me so I can have the footage of it. So thank you again, Malachi, for being so kind. I hope you get to see this. Again, I was super excited. You're like one of my absolute faves. So check that interview out really quickly here.
Hello, Katrina. Um, I have a slight suspicion that you were the individual that asked me at House of Glory who my favorite wrestler was. And of course, Hayabusa. And why Hayabusa? Because he was technically gifted, he was aesthetically different, and he was theatrical pleasing for me. And if you look at everything that I do as an in ring competitor, I contain bits and pieces of all three of those things. There was a certain mystique about Hayabusa that I liked. There was an agility factor and a martial arts factor about Hayabusa that I really, really liked. And there was a theatrical effect about him that I appreciated. From the individual Hayabusa to dark Hayabusa, I really, really, really appreciated it. My dream match, it's always so difficult, right? Because there's such a slew of incredible competitors all over the world. I think in my own world, for selfish reasons, I think Brody King, Shibata, Yuji Nagata, John Moxley. I've always wanted to wrestle Kofi Kingston and Eddie Kingston. The list goes on, and it's very difficult to just narrow it down to one person, one individual. And as far as Christmas movies, I don't. I do not have a favorite one. I couldn't even tell you a Christmas movie if I had to think about it. As much as I love movies, Christmas is not a holiday that I sink my teeth into very much. But I appreciate your time. I appreciate your willingness to, answer or ask me some questions. I really, really like that. I hope you have a great Christmas, and I hope you have an even better 2022. And all the best. Till next time.
So I guess like some things I would really like to do to 2022. I know people like to do resolutions, and sometimes that's cool, but sometimes I also feel like sometimes people who are unhappy put negative energy on the things that you like to do or you have goals, and so I don't want to put everything out there. But what I will say going to 2022, I would love, there's so many people I would love to interview. I would love to interview Jacob Chu. Since I did get in contact with him, I would love to get that interview. So fingers crossed I can. If I can interview Jazz, that would be amazing. Or, Bianca Belair. And I forgot that I actually got to meet Bianca Belair this year. Totally forgot about the fact that I met Bianca. So let me pause really quick. So literally the day before my birthday, this is after Survivor Series. That Monday, she happened to be in Brooklyn at a Cricket wireless store doing meet and greets, free meet and greet. And so I went super early. I dropped my kids to school. I went there to go to Brooklyn. The line was not crazy when I got there, thankfully. And then when I finally got to meet her, she was just everything, just absolutely beautiful in person, absolutely just super kind, and her energy was so infectious and so beautiful. And she told me happy birthday. So thank you so much, Bianca, for that. Like I'm still like reeling about meeting you this year, and you're like one of my absolute top favorite wrestlers and like top women in the wrestling business. And so it was really nice to meet her, and that was like a moment for me that was like, oh my god, this really happened. This happened. And so that was cool. And so yeah, let me go back into um my like goals for 2022. So basically, I just kind of want um to be able to do more with my fictional writing. I do want to do more wrestling writing, and I do have a few things coming out fictional wise in 2022. So hopefully everything goes well, and I don't get like my health won't affect anything. Wrestling again, I would like to do more backstage correspondence stuff for Real Wrestling, and I believe the next show will be in March. I'm not, let me not lie, 'cause I'm not sure if I know it definitely. But if any other companies out there want to give me a chance, I'm a hard worker and I come early, and I'm willing to learn and to do what needs to be done. So please definitely hit me up. I am interested. If it's in the area I can actually get to, I do not drive. So I need to be able to get there. We're not paying a super crazy car Uber Lyft price for it. So if you're in the tri-state area where I can get to, and I won't be like, oh, it might take me time, or rather like Jersey or New York where I can get to, please hit me up. I would love to get more experience, and it would be nice to do commentary and actual show, and to maybe ring announce. You never know if I can get better with how I feel about my voice. We can do that. And just be happy and be healthy. So again, the holidays did pass, so it's going to be New Year, so I hope you guys have a happy, happy New Year. Please, please, please don't forget to click the notification button to get anything new coming from me as I do a bunch of stuff, nerdy, anime, all that good stuff. I do it. So go check that out. Again, I wish you guys lots of prosperity and happiness going into 2022. Thank you guys for hanging out with me this year. You guys have been super supportive. You guys have been super amazing, and I appreciate you guys for following me along the multiple things I got to do. I do hope to collab more with my girl Shantice and Kiki. I've done a few of those collabs this year as well. And so we didn't get to do the end of the year holiday show because I had a little health situation, and so that had to be canceled. So I didn't get a chance to do it. So hopefully 2022 we can get a whole bunch more shows in which you guys or us just hanging out. I did a couple of collabs also with Shayna from Unpopular Review, and we're hoping to do the show Heels, which is a wrestling drama show. And so we hope to do that in 2022 as well. So definitely gonna look out for that. Again, happy New Year. Much love and thank you so much.